Content warning. On this podcast, we discuss sensitive issues, including but not limited to swearing, tasteless jokes, situations of a sexual nature, and drug use. This podcast is not intended for children. Hello, and welcome to BiblioWrecks, the podcast where we read the worst stories the world has to offer. I'm Bugs.
And I'm Bam Bam. We're talking about lesbians today!
Lesbians! Scissoring? Is there lots of scissoring?
There's no scissoring.
What?
Zero scissoring.
No way.
That is like a core thing. That is wild that you just picked up on that, because that is like a core complaint of mine in this book.
Do we have any warning notes before we actually get into it?
Rape. There's rape.
Okay.
Yep.
And is there like going to be religious trauma kind of stuff?
No.
No?
No.
There's no religious stuff in this? Tell us the name.
Today we're doing Satan Was a Lesbian by Fred Haley. Or possibly someone named Monica. I don't know how true that is. Or if you really think about it, it could have been Edward DeVere. You can make that case.
It could be. Because he actually wrote everything ever written.
So I heard it could have possibly been this person named Monica. I don't know how true that is, and I don't really care.
Gotcha. So you did like a little bit of background, like to look it up online?
Yeah, a little bit. I heard a couple of mentions of someone Monica might have wrote this, but it's really hard to verify because this was written in 1966.
So it's old.
It's very old. And it's very funny. Like, for instance, the book cover, which is hysterical.
It is a red-skinned devil with a fantastic mustache and beard, with pointy horns and a widow's peak, with his teeth bared, and he's grinning maniacally at a woman whipping another woman with a man in the way.
Right.
Okay.
Which I don't know who that person is, because there's no man that really takes place. There's a man later, but she isn't like whipping him. So I don't know where
she's supposed to be a dominatrix, I'm assuming.
Sorta.
And she's about to whip a woman who's in her bra and panties. And there's a man in the middle with his fist held up.
Yeah.
So
as if she broke into someone's house to dominatrix someone against their will.
They were in the middle of sex, and she was like, "Ha whip."
It's very funny.
I will have to put that picture on all of the socials. That will be really funny.
So I'm going to add a little bit of history here, because I didn't know a lot of stuff surrounding this, and I had to look up some stuff. Thanks to YouTuber Strange Aeons. I watched her video on this subject, or this book, and it cleared up a lot of things for me, because this is almost like it was written by an alien from where I'm coming from at it.
Oh.
So it was really bizarre, but it kind of clears up a lot of stuff. Lesbian porn, of course, at the time was not favored by publishers in that era.
Right.
And the only way to get your lesbian porn fix was if the lesbian character in question is a villain or dies tragically of lesbianism or something.
Right. We even see that trope in modern day cinema.
Right. Our story begins with our main character, Charlene Duvall, in Chicago, I think.
Wait, this is a novel?
Yeah.
This is not a religious outcry and a self-help stop being a lesbian book?
No, not directly anyway. Like, all the lesbian characters in the story die except one. I think that's just because the story forgot about her.
I thought this was going to be like a religious tract.
No, that's where I thought at
I
first.
didn't know this was a novel.
Yeah, no, it's
Whoa!
wild.
I am shooketh.
Yeah. Well, prepare to be shooketh for the remainder of the story.
Fantastic.
So, story begins with Charlene Duvall, or Charlie as she prefers.
Okay.
Sometimes I just forgot and I write both, so I use both interchangeably. But that's what the character prefers, is the
nickname Charlie.
Right. Well,
or is
I think in
like
her
a chosen
case,
name?
the more it might be sort of chosen name. Which they didn't have that kind of language back then.
Right.
I think she prefers it because it's more masculine.
Right.
She's driving her dark Impala in the dark rain. Charlie is dark-haired and dark-eyed.
Oh.
Wears dark clothes. And has dark intentions. Is the imagery clear enough? This is a dark character. I don't know if you could tell.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Riding shotgun is a petite blonde named Cynthia, who is small, demure, and has gravity-defying boobs.
God damn it. We're replicating Fourth Wing.
Yeah, these boobs are somehow perky and huge.
Of course.
This book loves boobs. I cannot emphasize that enough. This book talks about boobs so fucking much. Like, I'm a fan, okay?
Right,
I'm a fan.
Boobs are great.
Boobs are great. But boy, this book thinks about nothing but boobs.
So, like, more boobs than Swindolini.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not think that was possible.
It's hard. It's a hard line to toe, especially for a 143-page book.
Whoa, this is short. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, this is a pulp novel from the
So
time.
they boob boobly all over the booby
They
place.
boob so much. Charlie starts driving fast. Cynthia says, Charlene, and Charlie drives faster. Charlene, and faster. Charlene, and she's just shrieking at this point, terrified.
Because we're driving fast, because we're a bad girl.
Yeah, bad girl. So finally, Charlene slows down and parks next to a curb. Charlene says, Darling, my shoulders feel a little tight. Do you suppose you could... And Cynthia's just like, oh, yes, absolutely. Charlene, I'd love to. And
Does she massage them with her boobs?
not yet. She's going to.
Oh, nice.
Charlie says, did you forget my name already? Because she called her Charlene instead of Charlie.
Oh, okay. So she is a little sensitive about it. So
Yeah.
this is probably a preferred name. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
That's such a lovely name. I love it. I love you, Charlie.
So she's fawning.
She's very much fawning.
Oh my goodness.
They met yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm glad you used the word fawning because that's going to be very important.
Okay.
I bet you're wondering why, after having the piss scared out of her, is she so happy to rub on Charlie and fawning over her. Later in the story, we find out Cynthia gets horny when she's scared.
Oh.
Scorny, as I like to call it. She gets really scorny. Mm-hmm. It's just that when I get scared, I get sexy.
And I just imagine her chest inflating while she says that.
She just suddenly gets very breathy.
Oh my goodness.
It's very funny. So this is something Charlie does to Cynthia, is like try to like creep her out and get her wound up so that she's all sexy.
So if she scares her, she gets wet. That's the idea.
Presumably, we never talk about vaginas in this book. Never
what?
once. At one point, there's the implication of a vagina. But that's it.
Okay. We're
It is
lesbians
wild.
and we don't have vagina.
Well, this was written by a man in the 1960s. I don't think he knew how lesbians worked.
Okay.
Or maybe he was just trying to get past the censors. I don't know.
Is he pro or against lesbians?
I don't know. Because he
Because
could have
the
been...
front is a Satan, obviously Satan character looking at a woman, attacking another woman.
Yeah.
And it's called...
Satan was a lesbian.
a lesbian. So this makes you think, oh, our message is going to be lesbians bad. Mm-hmm. We're going to make her straight through the power of Jesus Christ. That's not where none of this is expected. I'm very surprised.
I'm glad this surprised you. No, this is secret lesbian porn.
Okay.
So
I'm in.
yeah. Yeah, and here's the quote. Yeah, me too. And that's not the worst. Maybe it's because I'm so small or something. Because she's so little. She's so small. All these little characters are so little. But when I get scared, I can't run away. I find myself running toward whatever frightened me. Isn't that something? I go all to pieces. Once when I was little, a big dog barked suddenly right behind me, and I turned and threw my arms around its neck. Of course, I was too young to feel sexy then. I'm glad she clarified that.
Okay, yeah, God.
But I kissed that dog, and I hugged him till my arms ached, and I pleaded with him not to hurt me.
And the dog was so surprised it didn't eat your face.
Yeah, lucky for me, he was friendly. He was twice as big as I was. Then when I got into my teens, I still couldn't resist the impulse, and the sexy thing got mixed up with it.
Is this a fetish that I don't
Yeah, she's just got like a fear kink. I don't know. Like she just gets turned on when she's scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems like that would be really unfortunate in public sometimes.
Yeah, like a fucking
air raid siren goes off and you're just like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh, are the Soviets bombing? Yes. I'm going to orgasm like I've never orgasmed before.
Okay, so we have a strong, dark lesbian who is enjoying scaring the little one who likes getting scared. Mm-hmm. But the little one likes it, so we're still on board.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're also having to know that Charlene is like still this dark, evil-coded character, because even Cynthia's like calling her like she-devil and stuff like that. This book several times, like almost out of nowhere, keeps repeating that Charlene is like the devil or something like that. Like it's trying to justify its title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They slowly get more passionate and have sex? Maybe.
We don't know that lesbians have sex.
Well, the scenes are very softcore porny.
Okay.
At best.
Okay.
There's lots of kissing and boobs.
All right.
But nothing else.
Okay.
No orals, no fingers, and no fists.
Okay.
And no toys, anything. Everything stays above the waist.
So this is very much how a man would imagine a lesbian doing things.
Right, because, yeah. Before they maybe do it, Charlie does this thing where she just stares soullessly at Cynthia to make her scared, horny. Scorny.
I didn't know staring at people could scare them like that. I will have to try that out. Of course, I'm not dark and mysterious like Charlie, so maybe it's just her.
Charlene, Charlie, please say something. You frighten me. You look dead. She almost sobbed with relief as the shadowy lips moved, issuing a ghostly summons. The gates of hell are waiting, Cynthia. Enter and be eternally damned.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, very horny. Very full on. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing gets me wet like, being told that I'm eternally damned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of cringe, but Cynthia's into it, so whatever.
Okay.
During their embraces, Charlie thinks back to how they met yesterday.
Okay.
The night before. Charlene was at work at her drive-in job when Cynthia pulls up looking for Charlie because she's heard of Charlie through the lesbian secret network that we'll find out about later.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So she's looking to hook up.
Yeah.
And she found her at her job.
Right.
Okay.
Charlene looked her over, wondering how her feet ever reached the accelerator and brake because she's so little.
She's so tiny.
Then as her eyes caught the swell of magnificent breasts distorting the front of her button front sweater, she wondered with an inner smile what the penalty might be for violating the law of gravity as this chick was doing. Unless, of course, the gal wore a bra with knots in the centers of the cups, her eyes remained fixed on those forward-looking beauties until the girl squirmed uneasily. Nope, Charlene decided, watching the unfettered movement under the sweater. No bra.
Because she can see her nipples.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What are you looking at, Charlene? Have I got dirt somewhere? No, Cynthia. I was watching your breasts to see if you had on a bra.
Okay.
Very forward, yeah.
Okay. Whereas I'm kind of willing to bet people would be a little more circumspect, especially then,
in public.
because this could be someone testing to find out to like literally haul you to jail.
Mm-hmm.
There were
Yeah, 'cause
laws
it's
on the
60s.
books against gay sex
Mm-hmm.
then.
So they talk to each other and flirt and stuff like that. Eventually, Cynthia says, "That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. You've got a fateful look about you, as if you've looked into the depths of hell and still remember vividly what you saw there. You've got a look of tragedy about you, Charlie." It's so cheesy. Like, every time it's trying to convince you that Charlene is the devil,
Yeah.
it's really cringy.
Okay.
There's a line on the next page that I highlighted. The line is, "Don't worry about it, honey." And this is Charlene talking to Cynthia, two women. Mm-hmm. "Don't worry about it, honey. Everybody has his quirks, as the saying goes." And I was like, whoops, you forgot you weren't talking as a man, didn't you?
Yep, you forgot you were supposed to be a woman.
A woman talking to a woman, right?
Or you could just say everyone has
Right,
their
you could have
quirks.
just, yeah. They go to Cynthia's parents' house to drink. Her parents are gone for the weekend.
Okay.
They start being weird. Mm-hmm. Like, too weird for the amount of aloofness that Charlie is presenting. Charlene says, "Okay, baby, I'll get you loaded up good and proper on your own booze, and then you'll tell me," because they're talking about secrets and stuff.
Okay.
She dry washed her hands and leered, again, melodramatically, because Charlene is just very melodramatic. "I'll learn all your innermost secrets, me proud beauty, and then you'll be in me power." Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know what racist caricature she's doing, but I'm positive she's doing one.
It almost sounds like she's doing a Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, I don't know what she's
like
doing.
she's imitating a character from TV or something.
"Charlene, you're trying to be corny, but you sound like the devil himself." "I am, honey, I am. Just call me Lucifer."
Okay.
Her eyes fell once more on Cynthia's bulging breasts, and vivid pictures came into her mind. "Yep, honey, I'm the old man himself." And she keeps doing this bit. I don't know what this is. She says, "Well, hurry, baby. My throat's getting mighty dry."
Uh-huh.
Charlene clutched her throat, husked, Whiskey. I've been in that there desert for 3 days and I'm a-dying."
So she's just doing bits left and
Yeah.
right. She does not say an actual serious word.
Right. So even she feels like she's being too goofy. It says she decided to be a little more circumspect in her remarks for a while. She was just like, "Okay, I'm being too goofy. I need to pull it back a little bit. I'm
And this
being
is
weird."
before they have gotten drunk.
Right.
This is at the beginning of the party. Wow. So she's in the middle of car time with Cynthia.
Yeah, and she has a flashback.
And she's remembering yesterday when they were doing
Like it was
this.
yesterday.
Okay. Why couldn't we have done yesterday?
Yeah,
and
it
done
would have made
today,
so much more.
today?
Yeah, just start at yesterday.
Yeah.
You're not gaining anything. It's I don't know. I don't know why it does it. "My parents' bedroom," Cynthia says. "She opened a closet door, brought out a woolly robe. My mother's about the same size as me, but my father's robe wouldn't be too big for you. You'd wreck one of mine, and besides, you'd look silly in it." So
She's a big butch lesbian?
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess so. Or,
Okay.
she's like 5'8". Like,
She's normal.
the story is emphatic that she's like really femininely hot, but in like an intimidating way. Like, men are afraid to talk to her, so they just don't. But also at the same time, she could if she wanted to.
Okay.
So now Charlene is going to start doing a bit again. Now she's going to try to act like her dad. They're going to start doing like mommy daddy role play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really weird. "Well, I reckon I could be your old man for a while at that. And we'll have no more talk about your venerable old pa looking silly under any conditions." Yes, I mean, no, Daddy. It's written so funnily. I don't know how serious to take it sometimes. Because later everything's going to get super serious. Why, Daddy, you've lost... They keep doing this bit for a while.
Oh, no.
Why, Daddy, you've lost weight, I do believe, at least through the middle, but you seem to have gained a little upstairs and downstairs. So she's saying she's got boobs and an ass.
Okay.
Charlene smiled her faint smile, and when her answer came in the deepest voice she could muster, Cynthia's eyes popped open. Well, my dear, getting older, you know... Everyone changes as he grows older. My God, Charlene, you actually sound like a man when you do that. I am a man, honey. Just call me Charlie. So now is when she's establishing her masculine name, I guess. And
she's just gonna do bits.
This is the last bit of the bit, but I feel like she takes it a little too... Like, it's getting weirder now. Hey, kid, you're forgetting your old man's advanced age. Like, I'm confused as to whether Cynthia is mommy or daughter.
Yeah, because it sounds like she's doing like, I'm your dad,
yeah.
Not I'm your old man.
She says, hey, kid, you're forgetting your old man's advanced age. Take it easy. We'll get there, wherever there is. Mm-hmm. Let me help you, poor old dad. It's just good. It's very funny. Okay. I enjoy it a lot. So yeah, one of them has to be masculine because someone's got to be the boy.
Oh,
is why it's written like this.
Okay, I was confused.
Mm-hmm. So there's like a weird cultural thing that was going on at the time. There were basically two kinds of lesbians in the eyes of the general public, I think. Mm-hmm. You had your feminine lesbian, which everyone considered like just confused straight girls.
Okay.
But your irredeemable real lesbians were the mask ones that were turning all your goodly straight girls.
Okay. All right.
So they drink.
And we are going to continue with bi erasure.
Yeah.
Because those don't exist.
Right. They drink and flirt, and this is the flirting. Oh, Cynthia took another gulp of her drink. Well, what'll we talk about? Charlene remained completely motionless. Your breasts, Cynthia. Let's talk about your breasts. She's written so funnily. It's really good. It's really good and fun.
God, this is so funny.
So this is the part when Cynthia actually goes into her being scorny. I jumped some pages to explain it earlier. Then Charlie starts acting like a weirdo again. They were sitting again on the divan. The radio turned off now, and Charlene had just regaled her partner with a hilarious account of purely imaginary, behind-the-barn episodes of her younger days. Then Charlene let her face settle into its frozen mask, eyes staring blankly ahead of her, while Cynthia's final laugh died away. There was a short pause and another little titter from Cynthia. Another pause. Charlene? Silence. Charlene? Still silence. What is it, Charlene? She had to repeat the same question again before Charlene answered in a dead tone. Nothing, Cynthia. Nothing. But why are you so quiet all of a sudden? The black eyes turned their blank stare on Cynthia's face. Kept it there in silence until the petite Cynthia began to squirm and look elsewhere, anywhere except into the nervous eyes. Please, Charlene, you make me nervous. And right there, all of the characters at some point except for Charlene have a stutter.
Oh. Because
she makes everyone nervous. Uh-huh. So it's always, you make me nervous. Yeah, constantly. It's way overused.
But it almost sounds like Charlie has a dissociative disorder or something.
Right, it sounds like that. But
from making these bits and then staring into silence Sounds like she has a personality disorder.
She never does the bits again.
Oh my god.
This is the only part of the story where she's doing these bits. Rest of the story, super serious.
Oh my god. So this author did not know what he was doing. He just was like, yeah, bits, funny.
So yeah, this is just, Charlene does this, she'll just like stare super hard just to make people nervous. And like it's trying to come off creepy, but like you were saying, it comes off as if she's got like a disorder, like she's
having little seizures.
spacing out, yeah. So she's basically terrorizing Cynthia. Even says, Charlene, stop it. Please stop. Charlene cuts off the lights. Cynthia is a wreck at this point. Charlene sneaks over to Cynthia and grabs her by the throat to stop her screams. And Cynthia gets into it, I guess, because it's the 60s, and I don't know that everyone understands how consent works.
Right.
So, yeah, Cynthia's getting into it. And I feel like this is just kind of a misunderstood thing, and I feel like this is more the fawning side of fear than, you know, actually being turned on.
Right.
And they have above-the-waist lesbian boob sex.
Okay.
Back to the present.
Oh, jeez.
In the car, in the rain.
Okay.
They just finished, and Cynthia is telling Charlie she loves her, and Charlie's just like, well, it's time to be hitting the old dusted trail.
Wow. That was fast.
Because she keeps doing this. She's just like, yeah, because they did just meet yesterday.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, I don't know how to talk to you right now.
Wow.
So she's not like leaving Cynthia. She's just like, well,
okay.
I'm just gonna go do something else.
Like she was in it for a one-night stand,
Yeah.
not for let's fall in love.
Yeah. But they do keep hanging out for the next 8 days.
Okay.
Charlie and Cynthia are...
Until hell opens and devours them all?
Yeah, we'll get there. At the end. So they're kind of dating, I guess, sort of. I don't know. And Charlene is getting feelings. And having flashback nightmares.
Oh.
When she was little, she witnessed some guy who I think works for her dad or something. It never really comes back. And he's drowning a bag of kittens.
God.
So now she witnesses this, and this guy now has to explain death to a child.
Oh.
And that affects her very strongly.
Yeah.
And here's the quote. And they was kittens? Yes, honey, they were kittens. Babies. She doesn't even understand what babies are. She's so young.
Wow.
And he's trying to explain death to her.
This isn't her dad. This is someone else?
No, it's just some guy that her dad told to drown a bunch of kittens.
My God.
Yeah. Babies, honey. Like you, only different. Yeah,
I'm
like the
murdering
thing
things.
you just murdered to the little girl you're trying to gently explain death to.
Oh, my.
Baby animals, not nearly as important as baby people. And someday you and me will be like that? Yes, honey, someday everybody will be like that. We'll all be gone. Gone? Are they gone now? Well, yeah.
So she's like 3. She obviously is way too little to understand the concept of death.
So she's like, what's that? And points over at the dead kittens. And he's like, that's just their bodies. You might say it's nothing at all, is what she says. And that's going to come back several times.
Okay.
This is the reason that is giving why she's kind of weird. And also, her parents died in a plane crash. So that also probably fucked her up. But it doesn't really go into it like it does with these kittens.
Okay.
Which is, I think, is kind of weird, but whatever. Back in the present, she's dealing with her feelings she's never had before and can't sleep. So she thinks back to something positive. Her first lesbian experience.
Okay.
So another flashback.
Oh my God. We spend zero time in the present.
Yeah, this story is only like 5 minutes long if we don't have all these flashbacks.
Wow.
As a kid, Charlie in school becomes obsessed with death because, obviously the traumatic experience of seeing a bunch of kittens drown in front of her and also...
Then her parents dying.
And the parents dying.
Yeah.
And people are saying she has a cold, practical knowledge about her. Even she also struggles in school, but it's because I can't remember why. She's being taken care of by her aunt and uncle. Boys fear her, and girls also fear her and are attracted to her. So everyone's afraid of her, but girls are attracted to her, even if they're probably straight, I guess.
Huh.
So weird, really
so
weird.
we're really building into the trope of like she's
turning the straights is what she's doing. Skip to her talking to her aunt and uncle because a lot of the stuff doesn't really matter. It's like just showing that she's super smart and into death and stuff like that. And it doesn't. Whatever.
She would be a goth girl.
Yeah, super goth girl. We never know what age Charlie is, but at this point she's old enough to consider moving out and has a job. Her guardians are against her moving out, but don't stop her. She rents a room in a town 25 miles away and takes a job as an usherette. And I don't know how I feel about usherette. Is that the proper...
I would have just said usher.
Right.
No matter gender. I didn't know usher had a gender.
Yeah, I didn't either. So this story calls it an usherette, so whatever. This is when she encounters Mary.
Is this the positive memory of a first lesbian love? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Followed by some very bad lesbian experiences, but we'll get there. It's quite likely that Mary Ann Adams had never thought of herself as a wolf before, but she became very much aware of the tendency the first time she laid eyes on Charlene Duvall. She saw in Charlene the very essence of wolfish appeal, and she felt her own wild urge to mate with it.
Okay.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Long story short, they have dirty gay sex next to a pond. And Charlene says at one point, and it was just the funniest line throughout the entire thing, "Your tummy is a veritable oasis for a thirsty hunter." I just thought that was the funniest part of the whole thing. But yeah, they just have like more above the waist lesbian sex.
Okay.
After parting, Mary apparently gets on the lesbian hotline and spills the tea on the town's newest gay.
Right.
Because Charlene's next shift, she gets propositioned by someone totally different. Karen, who Mary...
Okay, wait. What is the size of this town?
I have no idea.
Being gay is a fairly small percentage of the actual total population.
Right.
So for her to have new hookups every night, this must be a city. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, the place she is right now is in Chicago.
Okay.
Where she's going to be later when she's with Cynthia.
Okay.
So right now this is her hometown. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
But yeah, she gets propositioned by a girl named Karen, who taught Mary how to be a lesbian.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, you can just catch the gay, I guess.
You just catch the lesbian bug, and dick don't do it no more, I guess.
But the proposition is, like, really aggressive. Well, Karen went on at last, since we apparently know so much about each other, there's no sense in wasting a lot of time, is there? Charlene still said nothing. Oh, I get it. Okay, strong and silent. I'll put it straight. I came in here to invite you to a moonlight swim. I looked you over earlier and came to the conclusion you might be interesting to, meet. The tone took on a sneer, especially since I've heard so much about you. Charlene looked at her again, expressionlessly. Nasty little bitch, aren't you?
Whoa.
Yeah, cranked it up right there. The eyes widened again, then narrowed. Watch it, Butch. You could get into trouble like that. Blow was Charlene's succinct advice. So, really, really aggressive. Despite that, they still go on their moonlight swim.
Okay.
Charlene gets off work and they take a ride and go back to Mary's pond for some reason. Mm-hmm. Because I guess that's just where
the lesbians go, man.
Yeah, you gotta go to the pond to have lesbian sex.
That's where it happens.
Where else could you even? It doesn't work if you don't do it by the pond.
I guess.
Charlene starts acting like really obtuse and aloof and is just acting like she's not paying attention to Karen, and Karen is very insulted about being ignored. Karen complains and Charlie tells her to shut up. While Karen went on, Charlene rose nonchalantly to her feet, stood over the supine figure of the complainer, and planted the sole of her left foot on the girl's mouth, bringing a sudden and complete halt to the flow of the words. So she, like, puts her foot on this girl's mouth and, like, pushes her down.
Like, this just sounds mean.
Yeah,
this
it is
not
really
sound,
mean.
Nice or sexy at all.
No. And this happens to, like, a cartoonish degree later. Like, they keep having, like, lesbian fuck fights.
Weird.
So they scuffle around, but Charlene keeps her pinned. Karen bites her, so Charlie bites down on Karen's windpipe, choking her.
Oh my god.
Finally, she lets off. Karen says, "Good God." Charlene says, "Don't bother with him, Karen. You're dealing with me." Because she's the devil. She's the devil. Yeah.
She just sounds like someone who doesn't understand consent and is taking it way too rough, way too fast.
Yeah. And they all do. They all do this. But it definitely starts right here with Charlene. She's the one that starts the rapes.
Wow.
And she's our protagonist. But, you know.
Yeah.
To put it shortly, Charlene forcibly coerces Karen to act submissive and have sex, which is rape, but I don't think the story knows that. Next day, Karen is acting like super polite and subservient and asks Charlene out to a party that night, which Charlene agrees to. Charlene gets into Karen's car along with another girl named Billy. Mm-hmm. I have a beef with the way names are spelled in this book.
Okay.
So, you know how to spell the name Billy?
Billy?
Right.
Yeah.
But for some reason in the English language, there's this unwritten rule that the spelling for masculine names on women is going to be spelled differently.
Charlie is still Charlie, even for a girl.
Not for this.
Oh.
It is spelled Charley.
Was this written in England or the U.S.?
I think the U.S. Because
Okay,
everything takes place in America, I guess.
Because the spelling of names like that is different over there.
But also, Billy, this girl who's named Billy, it's Billie. Because it's just like a weird opposite spelling than masculine or a male named Charlie, because that ends Lie.
Right.
But Billy spelled, it's really confusing.
Is that how the author differentiates between men and women?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just an English language thing or this guy's weird.
Yeah, because I don't know if I've seen that in much other...
Yeah, that might just be like a personal pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
That I just noticed reading this. I don't know. Anyway, they reach a cabin in the woods, but no one else is there. Billy punches Charlie in the face when they get out of the car.
Wait, what?
Billy punches Charlie in the face.
So we're doing multiple violence, multiple directions.
Yeah, this is revenge for...
what she did to Karen.
Right. And they take her inside and tie her to the bed. What proceeds is more rape with also they do a lot of feather stuff because it's just teasing and stuff like that, but it's also more rape. But the story presents it as a revenge threesome.
Uh-huh.
So basically...
Is she into it or not?
Sort of. They basically like tease her until she can't help but to have sex with them is the way it's kind of coming off.
Okay, so it is rape.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like presenting it like she has no control over herself but to get into having sex with them. Like she's just so turned on and lesbian horny that she can't stop herself at this point. I mean,
even when you're raped, your body can still respond to pleasure. Like
sure.
It can still feel good eventually.
Yeah, but like they untie her and she doesn't like try to leave or fight or anything.
Yeah, it's still rape.
Yeah.
The whole situation was coercive and not done with her consent.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it absolutely was rape. Next morning, everyone is weirdly nonchalant about the whole thing. They're all just hanging out.
Okay. We are not going to address what happened.
No, because the book doesn't understand that this was like rape and should have been like a traumatizing experience or something.
Right, but also people sometimes don't even realize it is the next day. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if she got turned on, she's probably blaming herself for like what happened.
I suppose so. Anyway, they're hanging out, being weirdly nonchalant, like I was saying. How do you feel this morning, darling? Charlene looked up at her with a faint smile. Worn out. Karen returned her smile. You should. You were magnificent last night. Well, I had plenty of incentive. Karen studied her thoughtfully. Not mad about anything? Charlene glanced over to see Billy watching, grinning. She shrugged. Should I be mad? I had my kicks right along with you two.
So she's just saying that it was cool afterwards. She's just telling them, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
And they're asking. They're actually, like, asking her, which is odd to do when you're...
Yeah, like, it seems like they don't understand that was rape. I
Right.
don't know what the story understands.
Yeah, I don't
Is
think
rape
the
or
book
not.
understands.
No, I don't think it does. But Charlie is mad.
Oh.
And picks up an ashtray and strikes Billy over the head. And then punches Karen out. Like, knocks her out. Steals their car and parks it in a red zone on Main Street and throws the keys down in the trash can.
Does it treat her like she has a reason to be mad? It's giving her this reaction for a reason.
I feel
Does
like...
it understand why she's upset?
I don't know, because this feels like this is just her, like, getting back at them again. Like, this isn't her, like, reacting like a victim. This is her just trying to get one back on them now. That's what it feels like.
Like we're pranking. We're just pranking each other with violence.
It's just rape pranks, bro.
Okay. Like, this sounds like it's written in a non-serious way.
Yeah.
About really serious things.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I don't know if the book or the author understood how rape works.
Right.
Which I know later on, it definitely does, but it's really, I don't know if this is, like, confused about lesbian sex being rape.
Right.
Because it definitely knows that a man
can rape a woman.
Yeah, it definitely
that
understands that
concept
because that comes
exists.
up later.
Okay.
So,
It sounds like he also has no understanding of kink or BDSM or fetishes or any of the other things. He's just throwing it all into a bowl and giving it a good mix.
yeah.
Okay. This is just a mess.
Yeah, it's really weird. Charlie actually does the smart thing because she's just made two really violent enemies that are willing to kidnap her and beat her up.
Who also are on the lesbian grapevine and will tell everyone else.
Yeah. So she skips town and heads for Chicago.
So she knows what she did as revenge is bad.
Yeah.
They all know they were shitty to each other.
She might just be like, oh, they're going to get back at me again. So I'm just going to leave so they can't get me again.
And all of this started because the girl she was on a date with talked too much.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were also just being mean to each other. Like, Karen was just being, like, super rude and loud, and Charlene was just, like, ignoring her and just not really acting like she was there.
Right.
So they were just both being shitty to each other. And Charlene's answer to that predicament was to rape. Mm-hmm. So...
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
She goes to Chicago.
She goes to Chicago.
This is all still flashback.
Yeah, it is. Gets the job at the drive-in that she's working at when she meets Cynthia. So
Okay.
we're
Caught up.
caught up. All this is apparently enough to put Charlie to sleep because that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to go to sleep the whole time. She went through this whole entire backstory to do it.
Uh-huh.
In the present, days have passed and Charlene is just having more feelings.
A fear?
No, relationship-y feelings.
Okay.
So after another night of them being together and stuff like that, so they're talking to each other. Darling, are you sure I'm not too heavy for you? Charlene's hand stopped their stroking of the satiny back and slid down to cup the round buttocks. Baby, when you get too heavy, I'll let you know. Now just be quiet, I'm thinking. So I'm just like, well, she is acting like a man. If that's her intention, she's killing it.
I was going to say, she sounds like, yeah, just a guy.
Yeah. So they're planning to drive out for a coffee. In the car, Charlene hears a familiar voice say, "Turn around, little butch." And it's Billy.
Oh, she followed her to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Her and Karen.
Oh.
Billy grabs Cynthia hostage at throat point.
Okay.
She doesn't have like a weapon or anything like that. She just got her by the throat.
Okay.
And Karen hops in and takes the wheel. They go somewhere. I don't know where.
Okay, it's not really described.
They just drive and then they're in a place presumably out in the woods. I keep imagining in the woods, but it doesn't say where.
Right.
So they get out of the car. Please don't hurt her. Please, look, I've got some money. I'll pay you. And so Cynthia's like trying to coerce them into letting Charlene go.
Trying to like pay him off.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
So you'll pay us to leave her alone? How much? Well, I don't have much with me. Cynthia's voice brightened, but I can get more, as much as you want. Why, baby? You in love with this creep? Cynthia's voice was small but firm. Yes, I am. Karen nodded, turned to look at Charlene, who was watching silently. That right? You two in love, are you? Charlene didn't answer right away. Her eyes went to Cynthia, came back to Karen, glanced at Billy. Mm-hmm. Yes, she finally said.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know whether she actually has these feelings or she's just like...
saying this to play along to get through the situation.
I guess.
Right.
Even though I've only known her for like 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know whether that's legit or not, but whatever. I bet you're wondering about Cynthia. All these fearful things happening. And wouldn't she be all horny about it?
Ooh, with all these lesbians around her, too.
All these lesbians, and they're all being so mean.
So scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Karen coaxes Cynthia into sex to save Charlie from some of the beating that she's got coming. So they're having sex, and Billy is watching while holding Charlene down. And she's got, like, her foot on her face now.
Okay.
Yeah, another revenge thing. Then Charlene, literally under Billy's boot, starts coming on to Billy. Like, what they're watching is just so hot, they just gotta.
Even though she claimed to love Cynthia,
right.
And Cynthia is having coerced sex, too.
Right. And they just start doing a revenge orgy. I don't know how else it's a revenge orgy.
Right.
Then, as...
This feels like a very badly written porn.
Yeah, and it's just... They're just kissing on each other, and, like, kissing's fine. Kissing's good.
Right.
And playing with boobs, great, but that's all that's happening.
Right.
That's the only thing that's happening.
Huh.
So, as Billy is taking off Charlene's clothes, Charlene reaches up and punches Billy in the throat. And she, like, falls down to the ground, just, like, choking for the next few minutes. Charlene grabs a pipe and Cynthia's clothes, telling her to get dressed, and Karen nakedly just runs away through a field. She's just gone. She flees naked.
Well, because she knows the revenge is stealing her car.
Right, she's going to get revenge sex now. But she's not going to be on top, and that apparently is what I don't know.
Wow.
I'm so confused by all of this.
Yeah.
Cynthia tries to apologize, but Charlene says there's no need for an apology, and they just go out and get their coffee.
This guy literally thought, what turns me on, lesbians being mean to each other. And that was his kink.
Right. It's a totally selfishly written book.
Yes.
So they're talking. Cynthia says, do you think she says, do you think they might come back?
If they followed you to Chicago, yeah. They're going to come back.
Charlene tried to calm her. I doubt it, honey. They should have learned by now to let well enough alone. But in case they do, I'll be watching. Don't you worry. And I want to emphasize that part because it's not true. That is a fucking lie.
Yeah.
So this entire thing was pretty tense, but our MC got through it. Our main character got through it and admitted her feelings to her lover. So obviously, this is the best time to dip the fuck out and go to Hollywood, right?
Wait, what? She abandons her?
Uh-huh. She dips right out. She waits until she leaves and grabs her shit and fucks off. Goes to Hollywood, gets another job at another drive-in.
Are we supposed to be rooting for her?
I don't know.
Because she's obviously our main character, and she's doing really shitty stuff.
Yeah,
to
but everyone else is also shitty.
Yeah.
Like, the only people that have been fine so far are Mary and Cynthia.
Who were victims, basically.
Which, I mean, Karen, also a victim.
Right.
Which, I guess, Charlotte, I don't know. It's all fucking dumb.
Yeah. I don't think we can parse anything out of this. It is a disaster.
Yeah. Time passes. It's fall now. I don't know why that matters because we didn't know what time of the year it was before. Presumably summer.
Presumably summer if they're at a lake or
Right.
swimming in a pond or whatever.
So that would make sense, but I don't know entirely for sure.
Okay.
While in Hollywood, Charlene has been learning some new tricks. Quote, among other things, she'd learned how to avoid arousing in men that impulse to keep away from her. A little practice with the half-shy, half-mischievous glance. The sweet smile with the eyes downturned built her tips into healthy amounts each day. She was surprised at how few actually tried seriously to proposition her outright. When one did, all she had to do was turn that blank stare on him. So she's just more staring at people. Like, this is almost like Care Bear stare from Beyond Repentance.
So she's trying to act more feminine in order to get better tips.
Right.
Okay.
But she does use this for another reason later on. One day at work, Charlie is talking to a girl that she works with, who she isn't interested in sexually or anything, kind of like a childlike innocent. Mm-hmm. Charlene herself felt a motherly, or fatherly, rather, interest in little Carol McHugh. So, again, she can't just be a lesbian. She has to be trying to be a man.
She can't just be a friend either.
Right.
We can't we're not allowed to just have a friend.
Yeah.
We have to turn it either paternalistic or lesbian.
Yeah.
Even though lesbians know how to have friends.
Right. Carol is talking about a bartender that she went out with recently. But before going out, the guy claims to have left something at home, so they have to drive back. He'd invited her to come inside with him while he found whatever it was. Then he'd poured drinks for the two of them, despite Carol's objection that she didn't drink. She'd had another and another. Then those arms had tightened around her, and the hands had begun to wander. She pushed them away with protest. A little while later, he was beginning to look angry, and his words were no longer clever. He'd grabbed her, tearing her best going-out dress beyond repair. He mauled her like a football. Terrible image. And he told her in no uncertain terms what was going to happen to her before she got out of his hands.
Oh.
Yeah. So he rapes her. Charlene takes this personally.
Because she cares about her.
Because she cares about this. She feels paternalistic toward this girl.
Right.
She tracks down the bartender, convinces him that she's also a swinger. So she's just into free sex.
Okay. It doesn't sound like you would have to convince someone that you're willing to go and have sex like that.
Yeah, well, I think it was like sort of a code thing because if you were too open about that kind of thing, it's kind of like the secret lesbian hotline. You know, if you were just free to have sex with whoever, people might judge you for it. So everybody was trying to be sort of on the DL about it. While she's talking to him, she starts cajoling him to let little Carol alone. And this is while they're, after he's gotten off of work and they're by themselves and she's like sort of seducing him. And he makes a comment about having the boys rough up mouthy little Carol Hayseed.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Charlene plays it real cool, seduces him, and he starts ripping her clothes off. Sidebar. At this point, there is mention of him sticking his hands down her pants to grope her. This is the first time anyone in this story has even acknowledged anyone's genitals.
Huh.
So apparently this writer thinks lesbians are literally only interested in boobs.
And only men would know there's something down there
Right.
under your underwear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because presumably they don't care, like, I don't know. It's really weird. I think it's just because it's coming from a man writing the story, and he doesn't care any kind of pleasure that a woman might get from that area.
Okay.
So, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, he is about to...
Well, you didn't realize this, but women didn't have clits until 1970.
Ah, shit. Really? Damn, that update was crazy.
We watched Barbarella and all gained clits.
Ah, makes sense. Barbarella?
It's a space porn.
Oh, okay.
I mean, softcore.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had to start with something, sure. Anyway, he's about to assault Charlie when she turns around and stabs him in the chest with an ice pick.
Wow, okay. We're going to murder.
Second sidebar. Where did all the ice pick murders go? No one ever gets murdered with an ice pick anymore. I feel like from the...
Dude, do I really have to explain this?
No, because Lily already explained it to me. I just wanted to bring it up again because I think it's funny. Nobody needs
to break up ice anymore with an ice pick. We have nice machines that do that for us.
Yeah, I know.
That's where those murders went, my dear.
I just thought it was funny. Just ain't ice pick murderings going on like the good old days.
Why don't we see straight razors in everyone's bathrooms and murder people with those? Yeah. Maybe because no one uses them.
She does this murder. That night as she slept, she dreamed of herself as a child, saying over and over again, "And now they're nothing. And now they're nothing."
Did she deal with the body?
Nope. She just left it.
Oh, okay.
Which, it's 1966. If the murderer isn't still there when the cops get there, there's a good to fair chance that they'll never solve it.
True. I guess they were less worried about covering stuff up, maybe.
To quote John Mulaney. I stole that joke. I'm not actually that funny.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So, next week, Carol hears about the murder and asks Charlene if she should talk to the police. And Charlie's just like, nah. If the police need you, they'll call you. Right. Don't bother with them.
Well, she would become the first suspect if they found out she'd been raped.
Right.
So that's like, yeah, definitely don't go talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Next adventure. I'm going to shorten quite a bit.
Okay.
Charlie seduces a starlet, because we're in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
By staring at her from across the room and waiting on her table. And she gets invited to the girl's house. Story makes a big deal about her being a puppet, as everyone else she's had sex with has apparently been her puppet, even though that wasn't even true with Karen when it was said about her. So,
is it just reinforcing the idea that she's just manipulative and takes what she wants and doesn't see other people as like fully human or something?
Yeah, it's just her. She's a puppet master, no matter how bad she is at it, actually.
Okay.
Immediately, Charlie starts getting like really aggressive and weird after they make out. So they start making out, and they're in her bedroom, this starlet's bedroom. We never find out this girl's name, by the way.
I was gonna say, what's her name?
She gets a name for a little while.
Oh no. Oh no.
"Where's your dog?" Charlene says. Dog? I don't understand. Come on, a bitch like you is bound to have a dog. Oh. All of you do.
Oh.
Where is he? I don't have one. I did, but he died.
Oh my goodness.
Naturally, you kept his collar and chain. What kind was he? He was a boxer. Yes, I kept the collar and chain, but I don't get them. What? Get them? Yes, stupid, get them. Get them and bring them here, and hurry.
So she wants to put a dog collar on
Charlie
her?
makes this girl crawl around on the ground in her dead dog's collar, calling her princess.
Good God.
Makes her act like a dog, like licking her hand and being walked around, and makes her look in a mirror while she does it. For me, that adds the extra dimension of fucked up.
So it sounds like he has an idea of what a dominatrix might do, but he understands nothing more than someone who's mean to someone else.
Yeah. And also leather.
But it's just a dog collar. I haven't heard descriptions of leather clothing or anything.
No, there isn't any other clothing. That's just that. I feel like the dog collar is just a pretty common BDSM trope.
Yeah.
After some more grossness, the girl is too battered and satisfied. Also, at one point, the girl tells Charlie that she loves her.
Does Charlie demand that they tell her?
No.
Okay.
She just says, so I don't know whether this girl is actually into the. I don't think she is. I think this is another fawning response.
She is afraid and trying to placate her.
Right. But it's like presenting it as this girl is like too satisfied, or in my opinion, I think she's just too battered.
Right.
To move, and Charlie steals a wad of money from the girl's purse, tells the girl that she's doing it for services rendered, and says she can find her car at the drive-in. So she's just like, I fucked you so good, you need to pay me. Also, I'm going to take your car. You can pick it up whenever at my convenience.
I mean, at the beginning of this book, I just kind of disagreed with the title. But yeah, that title is accurate. This lady is Satan. She is horrible. Yeah. She is being so mean to all of these poor women.
Oh, boy. It's so funny. So weeks pass. And Charlie is feeling really unstable because every time she starts being like alone, she starts getting kind of unstable. And she's also feeling guilty about what she did to that girl.
Oh, she has emotions now.
Yeah,
Does she?
She actually feels some guilt.
Good. First time for all the terrible things she's done. She abandoned Cynthia. Mm-hmm. She was mean to all of these girls. Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
Here's a quote on that. She soothed herself. At least the girl had enjoyed herself during the session, degradation or no. Her self-defense mechanism conjured up all kinds of excuses for her, but her better sense always recognized the rationalizations for what they were, and self-contempt increased her turmoil. So the story knows what she's doing is fucked up.
Okay, good. And she knows what she did was fucked up.
Yeah. So, again, we go to Charlie working, and Charlie sees that Cynthia is there and rushes over to her, like excited to see her. Cynthia seems to have aged years. And is bruised up and beaten.
Oh, no.
They drive off together. Cynthia tells her what happened. Well, they have more lame sex first, and then Cynthia tells her what happened. After Charlene had left, Karen and Billy told Cynthia that they had Charlie, but it was, of course, a trap, and they do revenge sex torture with 2 feathers this time. While they're going at it, Cynthia's dad, who I presume followed Cynthia, sees her having sex with 2 girls and flees. He's just like, lesbians, and runs away.
Too many boobs. Yeah. There's too many of them.
6 boobs at once? My God. Man wasn't meant for such things. Which I guess 2 of those boobs are his daughters, so I don't know if that were whatever. Cynthia freaks out, stabs Billy and Karen with a cheese knife.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so she's been caught, and she goes back home. Her parents are being super weird, and no one's talking about it. She knows that she's going to get caught for murder somehow.
Okay.
She doesn't know whether...
She murdered Billy?
She murdered Billy and Karen.
With a cheese knife?
With a cheese knife.
Those round little things that are used to cut up
presumably.
Cream cheese.
It just says cheese knife, so I don't know for sure.
Maybe I don't have the right cheese knife.
Yeah. It was the 60s. The cheese knives
was
might
harder
have,
then.
Yeah. Cheese might have evolved. So she flees and goes and looks for Charlie. Back to the present. It starts raining, so we begin with raining and we end with raining. So that's nice, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah. And Charlie updates Cynthia on all her doings and everything that's happened and being super fucked up to that girl. Unrelatedly, an ambulance starts blaring in the distance. They think it's cops.
Uh-huh. And they both have bad conscience because they did bad things. Mm-hmm. They've both murdered somebody.
Mm-hmm. So Charlene steps on the gas and they start driving fast, driving away. Don't worry, baby, she gritted between her clenched teeth. We'll lose them by winding through side streets. Nobody but us would be silly enough to drive like this in such a rain. We'll lose them in no time. Nobody but us would be silly enough. That was so funny.
That is very funny.
Oh, like the only thing stopping the cops from catching them is their inability to be silly enough.
No one's as reckless as us. Hey, y'all, watch this.
Oh, boy.
That's the end of the book?
We're getting there. We're almost there.
Okay. Because you said it started with rain and ended with rain.
Yeah. Charlie, I think we've done it. I can just barely see the red light now. They must have given up. Charlene threw a glance at the mirror, down at the speedometer. My God, approaching 90! No wonder they had given up. She took her foot off the accelerator as her eyes went back to the street before careening the car. But it was already too late. Even though everything seemed to be in slow motion now, Charlene's horrified eyes recognized an overhead light in the middle of the T intersection. The unmistakable form of a massive concrete wall looming directly ahead and seemingly over them. She felt her body in the grip of complete paralysis, was vaguely grateful that Cynthia was still staring intently out the rear window toward the now invisible red flasher. Even now, however, Charlene was not conscious of the fact that her lips moved, and the voice of a very little girl said, "And now they're nothing." Back a considerable distance up Narda Street, 2 ambulance men froze dead still in spite of the pouring rain, shuddering and listening intently for follow-up to the hellish sound that had stopped them in mid-stride. Finally, the driver shivered up again and whispered, "Nobody will have to hurry on that one." And then they went on about their business. So they see the car accident. They're just like, oh, no need to get in a hurry about that one. They're dead as fuck.
Wow.
And that's the end of the story.
Wow.
So, yeah.
This was a doozy.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was... and it had to be written that way for it to pass through the publishers. Like... Number one, your lesbian characters have to be bad, and also they have to come to a tragic end.
The censors were that specific?
Apparently.
And there weren't just side indie publishers who would have dealt with this?
Probably not. I would imagine not, but I don't know. I think the deal was they just didn't want a gay person to be presented as good, because that would be... like coming down on a moral opinion about the gays that doesn't reflect the vast majority of America in the 60s.
Okay.
So yeah, that was something.
That was just bad. That was just bad.
It was pretty bad.
It was funny.
Like, it's not good porn. It's not a good story.
No.
It's funny, ironically.
Yeah. It feels... like she had some kind of personality disorder or some kind of dissociative disorder.
Yeah.
Where she would like leave herself and then come back and act weird. And we couldn't have normal sex. It had to be coercive and mean. I felt really bad for Cynthia. I would have wanted to take her home and keep her safe and make her feel all better.
Yeah. And in the end, the only one that lived was Mary, and she started all of this, sort of.
Huh.
Because she got Cynthia started.
Right. Interesting. Well, I'm imagining that almost no one who listens to this episode will read this book or have read this book. So you brought to the broader world a book that was going to stay in obscurity.
Yep.
It's a good job.
Yay.
How did you find this book?
I don't fucking remember.
Because it's on Kindle. It's not a physical book, right?
God, what was it? Where did I find this? Oh, I know where I remember now. I was on Reddit, and... there's a page on Reddit. It's bad book covers or terrible book covers.
Okay, and you saw the picture.
Yeah, well, it was a picture on a different book, and this one was just related to that one.
Okay.
No, I'm misremembering again. This was on Drawfee. Someone had done fan art of a couple of characters in this sort of D&D game that they play, and they referenced a similar book, and then I looked that one up, and then I found Satan Was a Lesbian, and I looked at the cover, and I was like, that looks hysterical, and I'm going to do that one.
Like, that is the most random way to find a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't even looking for one in that part, because that was Drawfee, and they just do art stuff.
Right.
So I was just pleasantly surprised to find a bad book.
That was bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Is it F? I feel like F. Like, it's just mostly just corny porn.
Yeah.
So I don't know about jail. And it does present rape in a bad light, even if it doesn't know what it is. I guess.
would say it's probably an F up there with Wings of a Butterfly for being problematic. Because aside from Cynthia, everyone was just bad. And I don't know. That was weird.
It's really weird.
That was weird.
I had a hard time, like, just getting into it enough to try to understand it, which is why I had to, watch a YouTube video by Strange Aeons, which I cribbed a little bit of how she did, or how she went over it a little bit, because she just did it better than I did. So
is she knowledgeable on, like, the history of, like, gays in America? Or?
Yeah, she went into it a little bit more. Like, there's a whole subsection of the internet that likes looking for, like, vintage gay porn like this.
Right. Okay.
And it's
so
kind of just...
if you want more not making fun of it, I guess, not funny like us, you should go watch that.
Yeah.
And is it just the video, the name of this book? Satan Was a Lesbian?
I think so. I can't remember. But I've watched a bunch of videos by Strange Aeon. She's really good. So, yeah, go watch her.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give this an F. And I would say, learn what consent is.
And don't fucking throw away your dog collars. Because you never know when some aggressive lesbian will come in and make you wear it.
And decide she's going to be a dominatrix and charge you money. Like, that just came out of left field.
Yeah, that was wild.
I didn't take her as a dominatrix in any of the other scenes. Because that's like a very specific subset of kids.
Yeah, which I didn't get super into, like, a lot of the other sex scenes and stuff either. So, like, when she puts her foot on Karen's face, she also, like, makes her, like, kiss her feet.
Right.
And a bunch of shit like that. So, yeah, there were some other domineering traits and stuff like that, but it is just corny porn stuff, so I don't care to go over it.
Gotcha. Well, if you have very odd books like The Devil Was a Lesbian,
Satan Was a Lesbian.
Satan Was a Lesbian.
If you got any more weird lesbian porn, I'll fucking read it.
Send it to our email, BiblioWrecks@gmail.com.
And check us out on Blue Sky and Substack.
Yep. And
how do we feel about shortening Blue Sky?
Bisky or whatever people say. And they try to call them
Is that what they... Oh, are
BSKY is short for Blue Sky. That's
right.
Just for the little...
Okay, that's funny, because I was coming up with that on my own. I was, like, wondering if people were going to start trying to shorten it. So I feel good about Bisky.
That's what I think of when I see it, but that's just the shortened to have so that your handles aren't super, super long.
Well, I'm going to go on a limb. I'm just going to start calling it Bisky. Check us out on Bisky.
And send us suggestions there, and join us in book discussions.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think. Share this with a friend. If you know more about lesbian history and we really missed the mark, let us know there too.
Yep.
We'll catch y'all later.
Stay gay out there. Bye.
Bye.